There's this fantastic movie called Shallow Hal, where the main character, Jack Black, only dates women that he sees as perfect tens. They're not always great to him, their personalities aren't always the best, but as long as he can see them as a perfect 10, he's dating them. Until one day he gets stuck in an elevator with Tony Robbins, and Tony Robbins implants a different perspective in his mind where he tells him now that he's only going to see people for their inner beauty on the outside. And there becomes Hal's journey. That's what we're talking about on today's show, that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And that movie is a great example of our next topic. So stay tuned. And if you like this content, don't forget to like, subscribe to our channel, and share this video with a friend. Welcome to Unleash Your Audacious Confidence on Win-Win Women TV. This show is all about sharing the tips, tools, and techniques that will allow you to step boldly in the direction of your dreams, despite your feelings, fears, or past failures, to imagine what's possible for yourself and live the life you deserve. Well, hello, and welcome to this episode of Unleash Your Audacious Confidence here on Win-Win Women TV. I'm your host, Alicia Couri. I am super excited to have this show because for the next 5 episodes, we are going to dive into beauty and confidence. What does beauty really have to do with your confidence? How do we up-level our beauty? How do we find it? How do we, find our mojo, so to speak? And I'm really excited to do this because I'm bringing in professionals. I'm bringing in some surprise guests and from people in fashion and styling to plastic surgeons to photographer to makeup professionals. I mean, I'm just going to have a blast because this is like my jam, right? And so beauty and confidence is our theme for the next few episodes of this Unleash Your Audacious Confidence show. And I want you to connect with me because not only that, we're running a contest for these amazing professional brushes. And if you connect with me on social media with the case, you get the case too, beautiful case and brushes. So if you connect with me on social media, go to alicia360.com. You will find out details on how you can enter to win these amazing brushes. So again, alicia360.com, find out more about the contest that we're running because we want to give away stuff. I mean, I am a professional makeup artist. I had a professional line of makeup and brushes and cosmetics and things. So I am treating you guys to some of my favorite tools in this giveaway. All right. So our theme, our title for today's show, our theme for the next few episodes is beauty, but my title for this show is Beauty is in the Eye of the Beholder. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder because it's so important to understand that concept that beauty is in who is looking at what. Because the first time I ever heard this statement that we don't see with our eyes, that we see through our eyes with cells of recognition. I mean, that was like blew my mind because I started thinking about that. I'm like, what does that really mean? Like, we don't see with our eyes? Of course we see with our eyes. But no, everything that we recognize, everything that we see has been programmed into our brain to see it. So we didn't know what a tree was until someone taught us that that's a tree. That's what a leaf looks like. That's what a tree looks like. This is what green. I teach Sunday school, and this past Sunday I had some of the little kids and the 1-year-olds and 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds who are learning their colors and their shapes and their numbers and everything. And so when we were coloring, they were holding up crayons, and I'm like, "What color is that?" And They just say one random color. I'm like, no, that's green. And they're like, green. It's like, what color is this? Yellow. And, so they're learning their colors, but the only way that they can see color with their eyes is by retaining that in their mind. I hope that concept makes sense, right? We see what it is, but we only recognize what it is because of the programming in our brain. And so when we've been programmed with a certain aesthetic, that's what we believe beauty is. It's a programming for a certain aesthetic. And we've been trained to see what beauty looks like in other people based on that aesthetic. And it wasn't as prominent as when I recently went to Mexico, and my daughter and I were heading on an excursion to Tulum to see the ruins, the Mayan ruins. And our guide was sharing with us the Mayan culture and how they believed that you needed to differentiate yourself. Differentiation was something that was beautiful. So they did things like put something dangling between your eyes when you were a baby, so you'd be cross-eyed. That was distinct. That was beauty. They would elongate the head. When babies were small, they would put a mold on their heads to elongate their skull. That was beauty, so only the aristocrats, only the wealthy were able to do things like that. So that set them apart from everybody else. So when you look at different cultures, each culture has a paradigm of beauty. They have a paradigm of what beauty is. And later on, I'm going to show you a video that I found on TikTok about a specific culture where what beauty looks like in that culture. So I want you to get that. I want you to understand that beauty, you have the rare and amazing and profound opportunity to define beauty on your own. Because when I grew up, I did not believe I was beautiful. I looked in the mirror and I did not see beauty. I hated having my picture taken because I would look at my picture and I wouldn't see beauty. I absolutely hated having my picture. I would shy away from cameras. I would hide from cameras. I would put up my hand like this or something. I never wanted my picture taken. There are very few pictures of me from about 5 years old up until adulthood, and more so after I had children. That's when I started having more pictures because I was in pictures with my kids. But I hated pictures. And one of my guests today, I'm so excited to have her on. She is my personal photographer. If you're following me at all, I've gotten over that particular belief. I love having my picture taken by this woman. I want to introduce you to Cece Espute. She is an amazing photographer, and she is a TEDx speaker and organizer, and she's just a phenomenal woman. I could sing her praises all day, but I want her to come on camera, and I want to have this conversation with her because she and I were having a conversation. Hey, Cece. She and I were having a conversation recently. I was telling her about the show and what I was planning to do, and we were having conversations because she was one of the first photographers to take a picture of me, reluctantly so. I mean, I think I fought you on taking that picture, and I want to show the picture to our audience in a minute. But that was one of the first instances that I got a glimpse of beauty in myself, just a glimpse. And you were responsible for me starting to see, like, the scales coming off and starting to see myself differently. But that's not uncommon, right? That was what our conversation was.
Right. Our conversation is about that. And you know what? Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. Welcome to all the guests. I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were talking because I was talking from the perspective of a makeup artist. Like, everybody sits in my makeup chair and would say, fix this, fix that. Oh, I hate this. I hate that about myself. And could you do plastic surgery? Like contour and do all the things. And then as a photographer, you get that a lot too. Make me look thinner, make me, like,
Yeah.
what do you see differently than your subjects?
So when I look through the lens of a camera, and I'm using the old fashioned DSLR, the big cameras. And so when I'm looking through that tiny viewfinder, I don't know that I think I have a direct connect with my God. And then he allows me to see the potential. I'm seeing so much, and it's fascinating. And I cannot believe that people do not realize how beautiful they are. And so for me, it's an honor. Like when I took your picture, I knew right off you were destined for other things.
I
You were
was hiding in the shadows, right? I was hiding in the shadows.
you was hiding in the shadows. You were hiding behind the makeup brush, you
I
know?
so was. I was so hiding behind the makeup brush because I didn't believe that I didn't believe I was beautiful. I mean, I'm not just saying that for people to say, oh, but you're pretty. I truly, truly, truly did not see it. I did not believe it. People would tell me you were pretty, and I'd be like, what are you looking at? You're not seeing what I'm seeing. And it's true. I
Mhm.
wasn't seeing what they were seeing. And
Right.
so when you told me to come take my picture, I'm gonna put them up in a second. When you told me to come take my picture, I was like, what? What do you mean? No, I'm here to take their picture. I'm here to no. And she's like, no, come inside. Come on, come on. And you had to coax me outside. Because we were doing an event together. And you're like, this will be
Right.
good. You could put some of these pictures up. I'm like, you don't know me. I'm putting none of these pictures nowhere. But
You know what? I saw somebody who was talented, who was confident. I mean, it was just, I couldn't believe you didn't see the beauty in you. And so
I did not. And
for
look at my
me,
little chubby cheeks.
but you were gorgeous, and you were just so natural and in your element doing your thing. So
Yeah, I barely
um
wore makeup back then.
mhm,
No red lips for sure. That was way too bold. Red lips.
yeah,
That's my little baby face. I was 40, what, 43, I think, 42 or
something
43,
like that.
somewhere on there. I was in my early 40s. And you took these pictures. Wait, where is the other picture? Wait, that's not the ones I wanted to show. Oh, I'm going through the whole roll of pictures now. That's not it. There we go.
There we go. This
Yeah,
picture here is one of my favorites. And
I know with my makeup brushes and stuff, but
right,
I felt like I was fat and I felt I'm like, what are you seeing? So I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it. And then you sent me these pictures and I started to feel like, okay, it's not that it's not that bad.
right,
It's
mhm,
not as bad as I thought it was.
right.
You know what the important thing was? Lighting. My whole life, because I'm a dark girl, my whole life I was not lit properly.
Mhm,
So I was always
mhm,
like a black hole. And I
right,
still joke with people now whenever I'm on a stage or on a set. The lighting is usually for lighter skinned people. And so I disappear into the background a lot. So I always have to tell them, make sure you light me because I'm
mhm.
not like a black hole in the, on stage here.
So even off of the event that you just came off of the TEDx stage, so I'm so excited about that. Looking at the pictures, and one of the things somebody said to me, this is crazy. They were like, "Why did you have the the people of African descent at the end of the show?" Right? And so we were looking at that. We are like, "Why did that happen?" Well, very simply, because we had adjusted the lighting, you know, if
Yeah,
you're in
yeah.
video, so we adjusted the lighting for the fairer skinned people,
During
right?
intermission,
Right.
adjusted the
And
light,
then
all the
adjusted it, and we would not have been able to make it right on a dime. And so when people were asking me that, at first I got like, oh my gosh, did I just make a
Were
full
you unconsciously biased?
was right. And it wasn't that at all. It was, I talked to the technical director and I was like, no, it was simply a matter of adjusting the lighting. And I was like, oh, so
Makes
I think
sense.
that I need to explain that to people because when people are lit properly, their pictures are beautiful.
Makes all the difference. Oh
Right.
my gosh.
You know, they always say, oh my gosh.
That's why I have like a ton of lighting
Right.
here.
So
So when you came on, you're like, oh, you're so bright. I'm like, yeah, I got a lot of light.
so they always say that you know, you should not wear light colors on a white background if you know, African American. And I'm like, wait a minute. Oprah sits on a white couch and she wears whatever color she wants.
Yep.
So,
It's just proper lighting makes a difference. And so when you're able to see yourself differently, and I have the tips for y'all. I have 3 steps for y'all to start seeing beauty in yourself, things that I didn't even realize that I was doing, because when people would sit in my makeup chair years ago and they would say, fix this, fix that, I hate this about myself, my nose, thin out my nose, make my cheekbones higher, fix. And I would look at them and I would like, I don't know what you're looking at. I really don't. I don't see that. I don't see what you're seeing. And then I asked them, what is your best feature about yourself? Like, what do you love? And that was like pulling teeth to get people to admit something that they love. Because despite everything else, as much as I didn't think altogether that I was pretty, I did like my eyes. So I thought, okay, if I could make my eyes shine, then we're okay. And then, because I was always teased about having bigger lips, because I grew up in Australia. I grew up in pretty much an all white neighborhood, went to school, all white kids. There were a couple Indians, but my features were very different than everybody else. So I always had like the wider nose, the bigger lips, the darkest skin. Everywhere I went, always had the poofy hair. And so my belief about beauty was programmed from 4.5 years old to that's not what pretty is. Short, dark, wide nose, big lips, and poofy hair was not beauty. Um, Thin nose, thin lips, straight thin nose, thin lips. In fact, I used to wear a clothespin on my nose when I would sleep to try to thin out my nose. And now I have claustrophobia. Seriously. So, um, so I didn't know anything different. And then when kids would look at me and tease me about my skin color or stuff like that, I just thought that I was a little ugly, you know, short, little ugly thing that nobody really wanted around. That's what my brain saw when I looked in the mirror. So I grew up with that belief, that paradigm. So what paradigms? So this is my 3 tips for you. First of all, I want you to challenge your standard of beauty. You have to challenge what you've always believed beauty was. And ask yourself, is that true? Is that real? Because there's something called the golden ratio. And the golden ratio, especially when it comes to your face, it's about this mathematical proportions of how your face, how your eyes line up to your nose, to your cheekbones, to your lips, to your eyebrow, like there's this mathematical equation of perfection for the face. Nobody's face is perfect. Nobody's face is symmetrical. If your face was symmetrical, you'd look very strange. Everybody's face. We have a higher side and a lower side of our face. Go look at it. Go look at your face. One eye might go up a little bit. The other eye might go straight or go down a little bit. That's in my case. Like this eye here goes up a little bit higher than this eye. This eye is more straight. This eyebrow goes up, this eyebrow goes straight, you know? So stop trying to be symmetrical where nobody's face is symmetrical. Even if you put your finger through your lips, one side of your lips does one thing, like one side of my lip does one thing here, is wider, the other side of my lip slopes down a little bit more. Our faces are not symmetrical, right? So stop looking in the mirror. I would have clients when I did an eyebrow one way, they're trying to get me to do it perfectly, exactly the same on the other way. It looks weird when people have exactly the same eyebrows. Doesn't look like it belongs on their face. So that's a little tip. So challenge your standard of beauty and then identify what your belief around beauty is. You know, we're obsessed with filters. I'm obsessed with a filter. I love a filter. I love filters. But in this social media, Instagram, TikTok world, Facebook world, we're not living our life in filter, right? I have a Zoom filter right now because I like what it makes my face do. But I don't wear a filter in real life. So don't over filterize yourself. And then when people see you in real life, they can't recognize you because you have not done the inner work to understand what beauty means for yourself. So challenge, number one, challenge your standard of beauty, what it means. Number two, identify what that belief that you own as beauty, right? What is that belief? And for your whole body, not just for your face. You mentioned I just came off the TEDx stage. Yes, I did. Thank you very much. And I talked about, being insecure about my breasts. Being a young girl with triple D's, I was really insecure about them. And many of you know, if you've been watching the show or following me or been connected with me in any way, that in 2022 I had surgery to remove breast cancer tumors from my breast, and I had my breast reconstructed with my own tissue, with an oncoplastic surgeon. I don't have implants. My own tissue was enough to reconstruct everything, and so I had to learn how to love the body that I had and the breasts that I had. So you have to learn to love your body. A few weeks ago, we did a show on lipedema with my great friend and colleague, Lisa Jury. And she talked about lipedema. She's had it her whole life and didn't know it. And she needed to learn how to befriend her body because lipedema it's a disease and it's something that doesn't go away ever. So she had to learn what befriending her body meant. And so that was number two. You have to identify what your belief about yourself and beauty is. Were you like me, where you said, nuh-uh? I mean, what do you think about that, Cece? What do you think about that step two? You're muted. I'll come back to you. All right. Okay, I'm on a roll. Okay. And then step three is choose. Now you're a choice. You get to choose what beauty actually means. And you could define it in any way you like by looking in the mirror and defining what beauty is. You could decide to define what beauty is for you in the mirror. That's what I had to do. I had to create my own standard of beauty by looking in the mirror and deciding, okay, how do I fit into this standard of beauty now? By looking in the mirror. All right, I want to show you this quick video and then we'll get some last thoughts from Cece before we close, just giving her a chance to do what she's doing. All right, so this video, let's hit share. I'm just going to show a snippet of it. It was on TikTok and
highest status of women in the world. Here, women have absolute dominance.
Let me start.
They're known as the best-looking men in the world. This is also the tribe with the highest status of women in the world. Here, women have absolute dominance. The men dress up to please the women. If they want to improve their status, they can only rely on their beauty to attract women's attention. That's why the men of the tribe are very concerned about their appearance. They carry a mirror with them when they go out to check their beauty. The Wadabi are a traditional matrilineal tribe. It's also one of the few monogamous tribes in the world where women have a higher status than men. They hold an annual men's beauty pageant. On the day of the festival, the men spend 6 hours dressing up. To look tall, they insert ostrich feathers into their hair. Then they paint their faces with thick red clay and apply thick black eyeliner to emphasize their bright eyes, and even wear lipstick to show off their white teeth. When the pageant began, they would line up and dance and sing, with wide eyes and big white teeth making all sorts of funny faces. In front of the women, they'll put on an exaggerated show. They're known as the best-looking men in the world. This is also
So, all right, let me take that off because it's so, isn't that interesting? See, every culture has their standard of what beauty is. And if we apply our standard of beauty to their culture, it's not going to work. So you get to decide. So that's what that 3 is. You get to choose your standard of beauty and what that looks like, not anybody else. And that's where now you can take ownership of it, and you can really feel really good about yourself, right? All right, Cece.
All right. So this was crazy. My AC is broken. Now they decide to work on it right on the other side, like
Of the door?
yeah. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So the noise was horrendous. I just wanted you to keep on talking. But you said so many great things. Now, I will tell you that I have 50 first cousins that are males. All right. And I am the 3rd oldest. I am the shortest. I think I was, I want to say that my parents found me on the doorstep or something. Everybody in my family's tall. You know, believe it or not, I'm one of the darkest ones in my family. So even though I'm relatively light skinned, but compared to the rest of my family, I'm dark. And then, of course, I'm short. I got this.
You got the curves.
I got the curves. I got I got everything. And what I had to realize was that I have given so many hugs. I have had so many children sit on my lap and, just loved on them, that for my body, while I didn't like it, my family loves it,
Mm-hmm.
and just what I bring to the table with, my ability to take someone's photograph and make them feel good. Sometimes I think that they don't really see me. It's the feeling. At least that's what I used to feel in the beginning. But now realizing that I am kind of pretty.
I'm pretty. When you let me do your makeup too.
When I let you do my makeup.
You let me do.
But here's the thing. I am a great grandmother of 4 amazing boys right now. And I'm thinking, I'm blessed. I'm
You
blessed.
are.
And those boys love me the way I am now. Yeah, that's me back in the day.
That's you back in the day.
That was probably the second time I'd ever had my makeup done. And that was by you. And since then, I've only had it done a couple times. I'm like, listen here. Nobody's looking at me. I'm behind the camera. I'm sliding
But
off.
you're so comfortable in your own skin. That's the difference. You're happy with who you are, and yeah.
Yeah,
You now makeup, it's for stage, when you're going on stage to speak, and it's just something to polish. It's just to put the shine on the apple. It's not the apple.
Right.
You're comfortable in the apple.
So, you were talking about having your own makeup line. Well, here's the lipstick still.
You still got the lipstick.
I've still got the lipstick, right? And what I do is I just accessorize with different glasses. I might do something like this, depending on the shirt that I'm wearing. I've got like 5 different pairs of glasses here, I'll show you my
Oh, we're
favorite,
having a styling lesson now too.
right? See, these are my favorite, my John Lennon's, And so, as long as I've got your lipstick on, I can
You're
go with
good to go.
I can go with any pair of glasses, my nail polish, and I'm good. And it's more a matter of me having confidence in myself and what do I bring to the table? You know,
100%. Yeah.
So it's not whether and now I do feel pretty. At this stage in my life, I won't say how old I am. Do you know what? I'm old enough to be your mother.
You are not.
I am.
You mean a very young teen bride, like 11 or 12?
So I am coming up.
Well, you could tell me off camera what your age is.
No, because now I'm like, listen, to get to my stage, I'm coming up on 64ish, 65ish, somewhere in there.
You can't be my mom. I'm 55.
Oh, really? I thought you were younger than that.
No, I'm 55, girl. We could be oldest. You be my older sister. That's
I can
it.
be your older sister, and yeah. So that's it. That's it. And you make a fabulous, fabulous younger sister.
Yes.
But it's to the point now where I realize that whether I think I look pretty or not, I bring so much more to the table.
Yeah, so the confidence is it's like a full embodiment of who
Correct.
you are,
Right.
not just how you look. I gotta close off the show. We're like at time already. This time has just blown by, but don't go anywhere yet, Cece. I just want to share with everybody. Listen, if you missed the tips, go back and look at them again. But I want you to really think about it, and I want you to be bold, to be brave, and to every day do one thing to accept your beauty so that you can step out with audacious confidence. All right. And I will see you on the next episode. Remember, we got a contest going on. Connect with me on alicia360.com. But we also have this entire next few episodes will be focused on beauty. So invite a friend to come join us next episode of Unleash Your Audacious Confidence here on Win Win Women TV. Mwah.